I personally am married to a 50-year-old broken child.
What did she just do? Her language gave us all an impression of a man who's a 50-year-old broken child. I've never met the guy. What do I now think if I were invited round to dinner? I'm like, oh my God, this guy's going to be a nightmare. When you understand the power of words, she thinks she's describing her partner. No, words are creative, not descriptive.
Oh. Let me stop you right there, brother. Words are descriptive, creative, and destructive or enlightening. Words have a multitude of significance. Significance. What is the significance of the words that you're using determines the outcome. So I just wanted to correct you there, brothers. We can now proceed because this isn't a grammar or an English lesson. But I just needed to nip that one in the butt.
Abracadabra's actual translation is, as I speak, so I create. You think your relationships are outside of you? They're all in you. If I had a magic wand and I said to her, when she goes home, she meets the most extraordinary man, listens like a rock star, he's passionate, he holds a space of safety, and that's what she goes home to. She probably wouldn't even listen to the end of my question. She's like, I've got to get home and meet this dude, right? But see, energetically, it may not happen overnight, but if she related to him like that, then he would actually have no choice but to start to manifest as a different man. Where is his opportunity to show up for you any other way than as a broken 50-year-old child if that's how you relate to him? He doesn't have a chance. And I guarantee you that's how he was also seen when he was raised, and that's why he's attracted someone to continue the legacy of judgment and inadequacy. I'm not saying this guy is the perfect match for her, but that's not the point. The point is she's here to discover her capacity to love. And it might mean that one of the most loving things she can do is not be with the guy. But she'll never get to that place if she keeps making him wrong and the excuse for whatever her dissatisfaction is. That's a victim mindset. And she's not a victim. I'm appealing to the strength of this woman and her capacity to love.
Now, he's appealing to a female audience. This is a destructive woman. This is not a woman who loves her husband. This is a woman who despises her husband, and she should never have married this man. Either she married him because of desperation. She needed to have a companion. She needed bills paid. She felt she was running out of time. But for whatever reason she married this man, she should never have married this man. Because you don't talk about your significant other in this fashion without despising the individual. So either he's not taking care of her or she's not getting what she wants, usually the case. She now resents this man completely. And the reason why I want to discuss this today is because I see this in so many marriages. I rarely see them online or in my circle of friends and close companions. And I ask my wife the same thing. Does her female friends talk about their husbands like that? And she says, no, I've never ever heard anyone talk about their husband like that. And the thing is, she has a multitude of different friends.
I personally am married to a 50.
Both black, white, brown individuals. So it's not like it's coming from one particular subset or culture of individuals. We live in the Middle East. So we get to interact with Middle Easterns, Indians, Asians, and white people from around the globe. But what I want to touch on in this short video is that if you are talking about your significant other in this fashion, please stop it, because it will inevitably bring the marriage to its demise. That marriage will not survive. Okay?
I hate being fucking married. I long for the day to be single again. The only thing that's causing me to stay and stick it out is because I've been a housewife for 10 years. And to get back out there in the workforce with a mental illness, some fears that I have. But I literally do hate being married.
You know, here's the thing about marriage that you guys got to understand. There is a trade-off to everything in life. Every freaking thing you do in life, man, there is a trade-off. And this is the problem that most women just can't handle, because they always think that they deserve the best of every single occurrence in life. If you're married, that requires a certain amount of discipline and monogamy to one person. If you've been out on the streets are going to always call you. That's why, ladies, it's best for you to have as little men as possible, because the streets will always be calling you. It doesn't matter how old you get. The streets will always be shouting at you. the second problem that this woman have, because I've been a housewife for so long, what I've discovered with women is that they live within the moment and the situation that they're in. And to them, that is the only thing that they can see. Everything else is a fantasy. Let me explain what I mean by that. And I'm going to try to explain this as clearly as I can. When you've been at home for a while and you don't develop any good hobbies, or you don't have a structure, and you don't have any purpose, enjoying the freedom of actually having the liberty to do whatever else you want, and you don't have that, and you don't have a drive, you don't have anything that you put energy into, whether it's crafting, whether it's a little at home business, or whether it's taking care of your kids, gardening, enjoying cooking, whatever the hell it is. Women have this complete freedom to do whatever they want at home. Because after you've done maybe 1-2 hours of cooking and cleaning, you have another 6 to 8 hours for the whole day to do whatever the hell you want. But everything for them is a burden. Oh, I got to cook every day. I got to clean every day. It's 2 hours. Your husband is out there putting in a required 8 to 10, sometimes 12 hours for the freaking day. He don't have a choice. You have a choice sitting at home. Most of these housewives, they're literally sitting there scrolling most of the day. Over here, Dubai, it's coffee shops. There's walking up and down the mall. Them and their other friends. And it's even worse over here because they're doing all of this with the freaking nanny taking care of the baby. She's not even looking after the baby. The nanny's taking care of the baby while the rest of the women giggle and chat and freaking gossip. But let's forget Dubai. I just want to refer to the woman who don't have the choice of going out in the malls every day and coffee shops. She's at home doing what? She has no hobbies. She has nothing else to occupy her time. Usually, that opens a lot of them up for cheating. A lot of men think that, oh, she's in the workplace and she'll cheat. She'll become the boss mistress, etc. But biggest problem, the biggest cheaters are the housewives who don't have a damn thing else to do except call Pookie and Ray Ray, who don't have a job, but he's at your house just pounding your wife while you're at work. But of course, she resents the husband for putting her in that position where she can actually have the freedom to do whatever she wants. In other words, these women are just unhappy with themselves. You can't make these type of women happy. And it should not be your job, gentlemen, to make a woman happy. Women and men have to be happy with themselves. Now, this one is a little tongue-in-cheek, but look at the irony of what she's saying.
The other day, my husband was looking at our 2-year-old and he said, "Your nails are so short. They're always so short." And then he looked over at me and said, "How come her nails don't grow? Does that mean she has like a vitamin deficiency?" Keep in mind she's 2, and what this means is he has never cut or filed her nails in over 2 years. So I started thinking, wow, he doesn't know that I do that. I wonder if he knows how her butt gets clean. I wonder if he has any idea why her teeth are always white. There must be so many things he doesn't know or doesn't have to worry about. How amazing that must be. If I could change places with anyone in this world, I think it would be my husband. What a privileged man. In his world, the mini trash cans empty themselves. His mirror never has toothpaste splashes on it. Little by little, his house becomes more aesthetically pleasing, and he has no idea how or why. He doesn't have to worry about giving the children their vitamins. He lives in a world where he doesn't know that you have to vacuum under the cushions of a couch. Tag your husband if he's one of the elite and knows these things.
Yes, as the husband builds a deck, as the husband builds for her, probably put together most of the house that she's worrying about vacuuming it. And this is what I'm talking about, my friends. This is a prime example of how the female brain thinks. She only thinks about what she is doing, but she's not looking at the big picture. How the hell did she get in that position? The man put her in that position. How does she get to be at home as a stay-at-home wife? The man put her in that position. Otherwise, she'll be pounding the pavement, trying to find a job, work, dealing with an a-hole boss, having to worry about problems that are much, much more difficult than worrying about, whether her child's nails are cut or whether the butt is cleaned. I just can't believe that women are putting these videos out here trying to shame their husbands, the men that chose them and they said yes to, and then went through the amazing wedding, and now they can't handle marriage. It blows my mind.
Things I don't do for my husband because I'm his wife, not his mom. Number one, I don't do his laundry. I used to do his laundry. We've been married for 6 years. I used to do his laundry. And in like the first year of marriage, he would get frustrated if I like didn't get to the laundry that week. I've got enough clothes, but he didn't. He'd get frustrated. And I was like, no, I'm not your mom. Do your own laundry. Like, my older son does his own laundry. My husband now does his own laundry. I do my laundry and the little one's laundry. I won't do your laundry. Now, if I need some extra clothes to throw in a load, I'll throw his in there with mine. I'm not a total bitch about it, but I don't do his laundry on a weekly basis anymore. Number two, on that same note, I do not follow behind him and clean up after him. His nightstand has cups and stuff on it. That's his responsibility to get it to the sink. My mom used to allow her husband to just leave all of his dishes throughout the day, all over the house, and then one of us would have to clean up after him and do the dishes. And I refuse. You're a big boy. Put your dishes in the sink, in the dishwasher, get them clean. I'm not doing it.
I'm going to pause it there for a second. Are American men this friggin' nasty? Or is she just bullshitting, trying to make a story? Because there is no way Caribbean men or African men would even remotely be allowed to conduct themselves like this from when they're boys. I do not eat anywhere in the house without moving my plates. I even pick up my wife's plate if we are eating somewhere else and take them to the sink and wash them by hand. But recently, I've just been trying to leave my daughters some work to do in the sink, even though we got a perfectly functioning dishwasher right next to the sink. And it costs more money to actually wash the plates by hand. I still want to teach them to manually know how to wash plates and how to actually take care of a house manually. But to the point, there is no way that a man should get up and leave his plates there. As far as washing the clothes, she's out of pocket. Why is it that she can't throw the clothes in with her clothes? She sees the clothes there. It's not a big deal to pick up a bunch of clothes, separate the blacks, whites, colors, put them in a washing machine, 30 seconds, press a button, less than 2 seconds, walk away. Women go on like washing clothes is such a big deal. If it's one of those machines that spins and dry the clothes afterwards, great. But if they aren't, you take them out of the washing machine, put them in the dryer, or you hang them on one of those little things and that's it. Point is, man, is that women like to go on like all of these things are a major, major thing, that you're not doing it for your husband because it's incredibly hard. We have created an environment for women that is so simple and easy, and they still complain. And this is another thing, gentlemen, you got to understand. It doesn't matter how easy we make it for women, they will always complain that it's too hard. Always. Because they will just adjust. Now, for us older guys that came from that era where, you know, we had to go through the freaking scrubbing of the clothes with our parents and wringing them out by hand and then hanging them on the clothesline. That's a different thing because we know what hard is. But a lot of these young girls have no clue. They have no clue how good they got it. And yet they still complain. Blows my freaking mind. Let's hear what else she doesn't do for her husband.
Number 3, I do not clean his sink. We have separate bathroom sinks. I won't clean his. I'm not saying that mine is the cleanest in the world. Mine can get gross, but I won't clean his. Again, I'm not your mother. I am your wife. I'm not your mom. You are a big boy. You are an adult. You can clean up after yourself. And he knows this. He knows all these things. That's fine. Like, he's a big boy. He can clean up after himself. I'm not going to do it. I'll clean my sink. I'm not going to clean his sink. Even if it gets to the point where it's grossing me out, I will not clean it because I just don't feel like it's respectful to be like, here, clean up after my mess and clean up after my spit and all my nastiness. Like, no thanks, not going to do it. And I'm sure comments are going to be like, oh my gosh, but you're his wife. You should be doing those things. You should be taking care of him. No, we both work full-time jobs. Not only do we work full-time jobs, we work for the same freaking company, but I work from home and that's not easier. I have 2 toddlers that I'm raising at home. So I'm being a stay-at-home mom and I work full-time. I don't have time to take on extra responsibility for a grown man. You can think I'm a bad wife, but it works for us and it causes a whole lot less fights.
All right. So she's a stay-at-home mom and she works full-time. Those 2 things don't make sense. Point is, you are a selfish, self-centered woman. That's all. You're not a team player. You're not interested in freaking working with a man. If the man is out there doing his thing and you're at home, you have a lot more freedom to do things. I don't know about how you can work full time unless they're calculating your keystrokes, etc. But the idea of cleaning the bathroom, the sink, okay, that's a once a week job. If you shave, if you brush your teeth, that's instant. You wash it immediately after freaking using it. So this is what blows my mind. I don't understand why her husband is so freaking nasty if she's being honest about these things. Because my sink never gets dirty after every use. I wash it out. Simple. Got a small little brush on the side. Done. After every single use. No scum, no nothing. So I don't know, man. But the point is that this is not information that you want to share with the rest of the freaking world about your husband. That's what we're talking about today. The total and utter disrespect women have for their husbands. Why is this information necessary to put online? Why? I don't clean up after my husband. It just shows the worst part of who you are. But women flex. Women are flexing, especially wives. They're flexing about how much they don't do in their marriages. And apparently this pleases the sisterhood. Don't forget, it makes sense.
Normalize fucking hating your husband. Like, for real. It's okay to go through about a minute, half a day, couple hours, a full day, even a week of just like, I can't fucking stand you right now. But deep down or in the back of your head, it might be all the way down in your toes at this point. You know, I love you so much, and I know we're in this together. We're just in the thick of it.
Yeah, I watched the words that you use. This refers back to the first video. Normalize hating your husband. You realize how visceral that word is? Hate. Say, hey, some days my wife gets on my nerves. So that's just part of interacting with any individual. Whether it's your boss, your mother, your father, your sisters, your best friends, etc. It's the same shit. Why would you then normalize hating your husband? This is the man that enters and shares freaking bodily fluids. This is the father of your child. Why is it that you have to normalize hating your husband? Ladies, you guys got to stop this because the men are going elsewhere. This is not attractive at all.
Being a man in this generation genuinely sounds like a nightmare because the fact that there are women out here that are only marrying men because of what they provide for them is genuinely terrifying. I feel like women nowadays literally take men for what they give instead of viewing the relationship as like a mutual sacrifice of love and like what marriage was intended to be. Being a man in this generation means that you have to invest hundreds of dollars on a woman just to see if you like her enough to make her your girlfriend, only to invest more money and more time and then even more money on a ring once you propose. It's like you can go through all of that and never find out that that woman does not love you and she's only with you for what you provide for her. And I feel like the majority of women in this generation are like convinced that men should be providing everything in a relationship, and I get it, like I totally understand it from one point, but like imagine being a man. And that's not to say that women don't also sacrifice their own fair share during the process, but like for the most part I think that women can pretty much be guaranteed that the man that they're with at least is attracted to them, like at least. I don't know, it's scary out here for both men and women nowadays.
It's scarier for men because a woman can just say, I'm out, I'm finished, I'm done. And she walks away with half of whatever the man makes. Unless she makes more than him. And that's very, 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 very rare.
If my husband talked to me the way that I talk to him sometimes, I would be in a literal puddle. Sometimes I am so mean to that man. And he's always so kind. And I know that if he ever returned the same words and the same tone, I would cry.
You know what the saddest part is that I can't even say that this man can only take so much and that he will someday potentially leave and you're going to be left thinking, why? What happened? I honestly can't say that because I don't think that's what's going to happen because I know good men and I know that they will stay. I think that a lot of that has to do with men actually loving greater than women. They love and stay even when there's a lack of kindness, effort, reciprocation, happiness. So when a woman comes on and she's very obviously aware of her lack of kindness, for her to not talk about sitting down with her husband and taking accountability and apologizing on top of changing It's kind of sad.
It is kind of sad. And you ask yourself, why is it that more men are walking away from marriages, not interested in it? Because he sees no value in it. He don't see any value in the relationship. And he realizes that once a modern woman gets comfortable in a relationship, she either gets bored, want a divorce, or sleeps with someone else, or she goes on TikTok and complains about him. Here's a prime example.
My ex-boyfriend of 6 years. Love him. Really good guy. The last year of our relationship, I started cheating on him with a guy in LA. And that guy was the one who told me break with your boyfriend, move to LA.
Was he cheating on you too, or?
He's a good boy.
Why did you cheat on your 6-year relationship?
I was so bored and so young, and just like, when you're that young, it's like you don't know what you want in life. And like in the moment, it seems like a good setup and you think you're happy and content. And then you reach like 2021 and you're like, oh fuck, like I have a lot of life to live. And like I didn't want to stay in Nevada. And then I met this guy who was like my dream guy, who was like so fucking hot. And like my ex-boyfriend of 6 years, we stopped having sex. Like I wasn't sexually attracted to him. It was just like we were so comfortable and like family and like roommates at that point. But like just there was no sexual romantic aspect to it. So then I met that guy.
Chad. She met Pookie. She met Tyrone. And that's all it took. Listen, part of the lesson that you should take away from that one video is don't treat your woman like you would treat your family. And it's hard for me to give you advice like this when I have to tell you, you almost have to be an asshole in your relationship to keep the excitement going in it. Because once they get comfortable, it's pretty much all over. If you're too nice, they just start to take advantage of you and they get bored. I'm a bit of an asshole in my marriage. I think that's the reason why it's lasting this long. Because I keep my wife on her toes. It's as simple as that. She don't get everything she wants. I do not freaking bow down and cater to her 24/7 or whatever she wish. I say no. One thing about my wife, she's a very different animal, man. You can't even closely relate her to any of these women that you see that I make these videos on. She asks for nothing. She expects nothing. She works hard. She's incredibly supportive. She get a hot meal every day. She makes sure that it's high protein, very healthy. She makes sure that she knows everything about who I am in order to make me feel comfortable. She contributes 50% to our everyday existence, and she's always done that for 22 years. When I'm down, she's up. She makes sure she helps me. When she's down, I am up. I make sure I help her. We work together. She washes my clothes. She cooks my food. I make sure that I keep that burden as light as possible. Some days, I wash the clothes. Ooh, put them in the washing machine, press the button. Oh, that's so hard. Oh, man. So, my friends, listen, hit that like button on the way out. I hope you had a good lesson today. Listen, marriages are not easy, but the way women are treating marriages as if they're part of a relationship where there's no deep commitment and you can just go out here and disrespect your husband just blows my mind. So all I see, my friends, is the misandry that has been contributed by feminism. And I just think it has gone way too far over the edge where they feel that, you know what? I can ridicule, disrespect, and talk bad about my husband, and nothing will happen. But you know what? I'm happy to see quite a few men who've just filed for divorces after they've seen this level of disrespect online.
So my husband decided to drain our joint bank account and leave me after so much controversy on my videos. So on my main page, I made a video about how I didn't want to cook breakfast for my husband because I didn't want to go out of my way from making scrambled eggs to making a fried egg for him. And I said that he could do it himself. I don't cook for my husband. I never have, and I'm not going to be starting today. I'm sorry. I guess he got, wind of the videos, and yeah, he drained our bank account, and he has told me that I have to leave. At first, I thought he was the one that's going to be gone and that I was going to be able to stay here. But he returned and he said that I need to pack up my things and go. I told him absolutely not because I have children and me and my children are not going to be in the street. So I told him that he has to evict me. And the one that gave him this idea of leaving me was his birth giver. Yes. His mother was the one that gave him the grand idea to leave me after 15 years. It's honestly ridiculous and disgusting that this is even happening right now.
So that is actually happening. So ladies, I'm just warning you, if you want to ruin your marriage, just go out there and talk shit about your husband. One thing men do not tolerate, and that's disrespect. So until tomorrow, my friends, remember, whenever in doubt, always, always ask an older man. I'll see you soon. Cheers.